Great. Well, I'm Crystal, and I'm not going to go through the last names because I'm trying to get them all changed up here. But please feel free to call me Crystal. And I do have my contact information up there. So if you want to reach out, if there's anything you want to follow up on or want my advice on tools, because I'm going to talk a little bit about tools tonight that I found really useful in my doctorate journey. I am now at the writing the proposal phase for, it's PAD 654, right. So anyway, my background, the reason I decided to get a doctorate was because in the spring of 2017, I woke up and went, well, if they're not going to listen to me at work, I'm going to get a doctorate, so they're going to have to listen to me. And the reason I said that is because I am the executive director of an organization that is governed by 5 competing healthcare institutions in central Illinois. Memorial, Hospital Sisters, Springfield Clinic, SIU, and Blessing in Quincy. And what we're trying to do is to establish electronic connections so that we're actually able to, no matter where you go, if you're in the hospital or if you're seeing a physician locally or at some point Decatur and Jacksonville and Quincy, they will have access to your records, which is particularly useful if there's an emergency. And I think we're in a point now where we have an expectation that our providers know that we just had an x-ray done, and we don't want to have to re-educate them about tests and things that we have. So that requires a lot of collaboration, and I was learning about collaboration on my own for a couple of years just because I was trying to help my board members collaborate with one another, and it just got to the point where I was so frustrated. We actually are now implementing, so that's good news and bad news. The good news is we're in the implementation mode. The bad news, it's the same semester as trying to write the proposal. So anyway, that's my background, and clicker, thanks. And I think I hit the wrong button. Let me see what I need. Okay, here we go. So one of the things I would encourage you to do is think about what your interests are now. I came in kind of knowing I wanted to research something about collaboration, and I thought about collaboration all the time. Like I said, for about 2 years prior to even starting the doctorate program, I was trying to read up on tools and skills and whatever to help my board do a better job of working together. So I really liked this quote because it's true. If you could plan and think about what you're going to research as much as possible before you actually try to start writing anything, and write as you go, obviously, but it's going, I can't figure this clicker out. There we go. It's going to help. Now what did I do? It went away. Why is it not advanced? Okay, because I'm hitting the wrong button. Sorry about that. So one of the first things that you need to do early, and I didn't do this until the beginning of the second semester, which is why I'm sharing my file structure with you, is to get organized as early as possible. You're going to be curating a lot of information, not only the papers in class that you're reading, things that you're writing, and by the way, never, ever, ever delete a draft. Just put the date of the draft on it, because you may edit out content that doesn't really work toward the end goal of that particular paper, but it's going to be something really great for your dissertation proposal or some other assignment you have. So make sure you have an archive folder. You'll see that, there is the little thing. You'll see the archive folder right there. I'm more than happy to spend time with anybody on the phone that wants to know how to set up a file structure like this. You can do this in OneDrive. But for the coursework, I started really with, I broke every semester down by class and made sure that I knew what I had to read each week, by week, what the lectures were by week, the assignments, any exams for my, my elective courses. And so staying organized is going to be really critical. And then in your readings by week, as you find things that might inform your dissertation proposal or other research interests, make sure you transfer them into a dissertation-related folder of some sort. And again, you can see here I have the primary structure of this is trying to project manage the whole dissertation process. For those of you who are professionals, you know something about project management. This is no different. And then within the articles and studies, I break it down by major topic. Theory is a whole big section just on its own. You can see I've got the major theories here that I'm tracking. And then within each of these folders, I have subfolders. Are they academic papers, or are they white papers or slide decks or some other resource that I'm looking to? And then again, you can see here I even have how to do some things. So how to do conceptual frameworks, some guidance, and then this is the draft management process. So I want to track where the readers are in reviewing the specific drafted sections for the proposal and for the dissertation. And so I'm actually, I've got that all set up. So feel free to borrow any of these ideas, and I just did it again. There we go. Okay, so dissertation planning. You need to be doing that now while you're in class. Be looking for that idea that you're interested in, and you're going to start thinking about a topic. Maybe some of you already have a general idea in mind. I came in thinking about collaboration and collaborative governance. And the problem that I was seeing at work was that there was limited collaboration, limited mutual accountability, and I really wanted to understand that phenomenon a lot more. And as I started reading papers, particularly when I got into 652 in Travis's class for public management, all of a sudden I was finding papers that applied to what I was really interested in, and landed upon one that is the basis for the model that I'm developing. So the best dissertation is what? A finished dissertation, right? So you're not going to try to boil the ocean here. You're going to try and go for something that will contribute a new idea to the field, a new way of applying something. In my case, I found a study that had been replicated in 3 or 4 other institutional type organizations, and it is a survey tool, and now I'm taking it into the healthcare sector because I think it will help the healthcare sector solve some of its issues. And your research, so you're going to go from a very broad idea to a much more narrow view. This model I pulled out of my favorite book is, and everybody knows, the faculty knows because I carry this with me everywhere. If there's one book that you should invest in that's outside of what's required for class, this is it. And I'll have a list of resources at the end. This is the second one. I'm going to pass it around so you can take a look at it. How am I doing on time? About 5 minutes? What?
About 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay, I'll wrap up quickly. Okay, so moving on. This book here, Reason and Rigor, is another recommendation. I did not get into really understanding conceptual frameworks until this spring, summer. It's still a hard concept for me to wrap my mind around. I highly recommend this book. I do recommend that you spend as much time now, you'll be much further along than I was, in nailing down what conceptual frameworks are. So this is a good talk tonight. And then find tools that work for you. Again, you can look at these field headers and in Excel, and feel free to copy and use models like this. I do want to call your attention to mind mapping as a possibility. It's a great little piece of software. It's $35 a year, and it allows me to see the gaps in what I'm doing in my lit review. And so anything that you can find that helps you stay organized, helps you get this massive information into a framework so that you can see, oh, I haven't talked about this particular topic in my lit review and I need to make sure I cover it. And in terms of my research questions, I'm looking at, as I said, collaboration. I'm looking at 5 dimensions of collaboration that were developed by researchers Thompson Perry, and then conceptualized, and they developed a measurement tool in a subsequent study. So those are my research questions. My framework, my conceptual framework, is a work in progress. I think this is a very important point that the dean made, is that you're going to be modifying and adjusting your work as you go along. And you want to have a conceptual framework that provides the argument for why your topic's important to study. You know, why should we care about this topic? What's it going to do? Why is it exciting to you? If you can't answer that question for yourself, then it's really hard to convey that passion to your readers. And so you will continue to modify a conceptual framework. This is about my 5th iteration of this in the last 2 years as you go along. And you need to be able to have a solid argument and be able to fall back on your rationale in case you have to change this. You need to understand why you're doing what you're doing.
And it gets better each time.
Yep. So for additional resources, some of these books I have back there, I have additional books, feel free to take a look at them. I'm sorry I'm not loaning them out because I am using them all right now. Leverage the Kindle. Books are cheaper on the Kindle, and you never go anywhere without your library. And then my final point is to make sure you manage your stress. Life happens, as the dean said. My mother died in my 2nd semester here. Because she had Alzheimer's, school was actually my escape. So make sure that you're managing, all the things that you need in your life. Find a little hobby that lets yourself let off some steam. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal.